All right, let's talk now about our preschoolers, which again are that age range of 3 to 6. Again, you can see that they continue to sort of grow. They lose a lot of that baby look to them as they move through this preschool phase. They get a little less body fat, and again, that trunk elongates a little bit so they don't look like they're all belly as they're walking. By now, they have a full set of primary teeth, and they're able to chew and swallow well. Again, that calorie count somewhere, depending on how busy they are, how old they are, in the 12 to 2,000 calorie range. The 2,000 part sounds a little high, but you could certainly look at their growth and development. Again, we would closely want to monitor what their calcium and iron intake is to ensure that they were getting the right minerals in their diet. In the Erickson phase, this is that initiative versus guilt. So again, remember that they still have fantasy play, where they're having some trouble, helps them differentiate between reality and fantasy. But their greatest fear is bodily harm, and they will often associate that with guilt that they somehow or other caused that to occur. They need to again keep trying different activities. We don't want to frustrate them and make them feel overwhelmed when they're not successful all the time, but they should really have to try to do new things and then feel the positivity when they are successful. If there's any stress in the family, certainly there can be some regression in their growth and development, or rather their developmental stages, so not unexpected. Again, because there's a lot of magical thinking and difficulty differentiating sometimes between reality and fantasy, sleep disturbances and nighttime terrors are not uncommon in this age. From a PJ point of view, again, we are now moving from that pre-operational thinking to a more intuitive thought process. Again, pre-operational is, again, that magical thinking that their thoughts are all powerful and they make things happen. So again, they may wish for something, and then if something happens, they may wish that their brother or sister falls, and then that happens, not because they wished it, but then there may be guilt with that. Inanimate objects may be alive, so they may have animals that they talk to, stuffed animals that they talk to and believe that they're alive. And again, that karma, that universal justice, where they kind of, universal code, where they kind of think that, ooh, I caused this to happen. And again, that plays into divorce or accidents and injuries. The intuitive stage, this is that why stage where they ask an awful lot of questions about why is the sky blue? Why is the sun yellow? Why is it hot? Why? They're able to classify objects, so they can put things in categories, put the circles together, the squares together, the red objects. And again, this is a time where they're beginning to understand past, present, and future, but yeah, not so much. So they don't understand that broken bones heal, that cuts heal, why they need Band-Aids. They don't understand when that cast comes off that the arm will be okay. So again, remembering that they have very little understanding of time is important when we're thinking about nursing. Again, we talked about that the 3-year-old rides a trike. 4-year-olds can now hop. They're pretty good at catching ball. They don't walk backwards very well until around 5 years of age. Again, those fine motor skills come into play. At 4, they're able to use some scissors, draw circles and squares. We talked in class a little bit about asking them to draw a person. And so we look at, what's your developmental age based on how many body parts do you put in? Did you give them a head? Did you give them ears and eyes? Did you give them a neck, shoulders, trunk, hips, legs, toes, fingers? All of those things are important. From a language point of view, at this point we have that 3-year-old where you should understand 50% of what they say, Now at 4, there should be 75%. And at 5 years of age, you should pretty much understand everything that they say. They may have some difficulty with some certain sounds like W's, but you should know what they're saying. Again, the standards that we've gone by for years, like a 4-year-old knows at least one color, they probably know an awful lot more nowadays because of early intervention and early kindergarten preparation programs. Again, same with a 5-year-old. There was an expectation that 5-year-olds were supposed to be able to read. It depends on the 5-year-old, but certainly they should know their name, their address, and a large number of words. Social development, they have some strong emotions. They can be shy, again, depending on their temperament. They tend to be able to show kindness and cooperation, affection. They have vivid imaginations, and their fears are very real. So again, it's not helpful to be discountive of a child who, is afraid of the dark or has monster fears. Think about their imaginary play and how can we use that to help them work through that. Expressing their feelings, we talked a little bit about drawing, using drawing as a way for them to express how they were feeling, or play is a very good way, role playing, giving doctor kits, allowing them to do things to dolls or stuffed animals that have been done to them is a way for them, of course, to feel a little bit more in control and have a little bit of a way to process what's happened. At this point, they do have some basic understandings of right and wrong. They may believe that sickness or death is their fault. And again, that goes back to both the Erikson and Piaget thought processes, and that somehow or other it's a punishment. If they had they thought something and then for whatever reason it came true, they certainly will feel guilt and blame themselves for that. So again, the nurse's role here, a lot of health promotion looking at both nutrition and safety. And then, of course, having conversations with families about schedule enough sleep. We talked about nutrition. There's something came and went real quick in my head. But again, these are all things to sit down and talk about. School readiness is another big one. How are they when it was being separated from the family to go into new situations, and how can we best prepare them for that? And that's the end of that one.